Have you ever imagined waking up on hard ground instead of your soft bed? Or sleeping inside a tent or hut with no electricity or running water? When you experience these simple things, you'll truly appreciate your current reality and the blessings around you in today's world. In this boring audio story, we'll take you on a unique journey back in time to ancient Egypt. We'll dive into the details of a whole day there and find out why you wouldn't last 24 hours in that strange era. Close your eyes and let your imagination take you far away. To support us and hear more boring stories, subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments which country you're watching from. When the bed is very different, you slowly open your eyes. The first thing you feel is roughness and hardness under your back. Not the soft luxury of your modern bed, but hard-packed clay. You feel some dry straw or tiny sticks tickling your skin from the old mat you're sleeping on. Every little move makes the mat creak softly. The air around you is warm and a bit humid. You smell something unlike anything you know from your world. A mix of dry earth, some old dust, and something like a faint scent of incense drifting from afar. The light is dim. There are no electric lamps. Just a bit of light sneaking in through a small crack in the mud wall. The walls around you are simple, made of mud and straw, with tiny cracks here and there. The ceiling's made of woven palm fronds. You try to get up, but your body feels numb and every joint makes a soft creak, like it's complaining about this new way of sleeping. What a comfy bed, you mutter sarcastically to yourself. I wonder if the pharaohs appreciated this kind of perfection. Sounds of the ancient morning, an entirely different symphony, come from the door of your little hut. The light is growing. The sun is sending its first golden rays over the clustered mud houses. The air's warm. You hear the first sounds of the day, not engines, not factory whistles, just a distant rooster crowing. Then a faint call to prayer, and the nearby bleating of goats. The air carries strong smells. Smoke from the primitive bread ovens, manure from passing livestock, and stirred-up dust. Every breath you take is a new discovery of a scent, not like the air fresheners in your world. You walk down narrow streets with no sidewalks, just dirt underfoot. You feel grains of sand and small rocks under your bare feet. Every step takes effort. There aren't any comfy shoes to protect your feet. At least I won't have to deal with sore feet from tight shoes. Here, they only care about themselves. You see some people starting to move, some carrying baskets, others pushing small handcarts. Their voices are soft, their language strange. You won't understand a single word they say. So, am I going to spend 24 hours like a silent rock, understanding nothing? You think sarcastically. The Nile's water is the source of life and challenge. You feel thirsty, your throat dries up, so you head toward the Nile. It's the source of life here, but also a source of challenge. When you reach the banks, the water looks muddy brown. Not the clear blue water you saw in pictures. You hear the gentle flow and the sound of small boats rowing. You carefully bend down and scoop some water with your hands. It's cold. You drink it. It tastes different with a slight earthy flavor. It quenches your thirst, but the thought of its purity keeps spinning in your mind. There are no water tanks or filters here. Everything you drink comes straight from the Nile. You notice some tiny insects flying over the water, hear a faint buzzing of flies, and feel a bit itchy on your skin. You wish you had some hand sanitizer or even insect repellent. Seems like this challenge is all. You're alive, clean body, watching others going about their business like it's no big deal. Life here is simple but full of small struggles and challenges you never really paid attention to back home. Time drags on painfully slow, and you start feeling fatigue creeping into your body. You close your eyes, hear the calm Nile, feel the warm breeze wrapping around you. Now you're in the second part of your journey. The sun's climbing higher in the sky. The heat's getting noticeably stronger. Dry air gently brushes your face. Real hunger hits, the kind that comes after a simple breakfast, not the light hunger you're used to. It's a real hunger that makes your stomach slowly contract. You remember how easy it was to get food back home. Just a quick trip to the store or a phone order. Here, it's totally different. You walk down dusty streets, dust rising with every step, sticking to your light linen clothes. You see some small kids running barefoot, laughing quietly. Their soft laughter mixes with the everyday sounds around you. You notice the lack of food variety, no big stores around. The place is full of choices. What you see is bread, dates, some onions, and a little dried fish. Everything here is supernatural, no fancy processing involved. You feel really thirsty, and you remember that cold black coffee you had in the morning or a bottle of ice-cold water. Here, you have to rely on what the Nile gives you. You walk back toward the river, hear the calm sound of flowing water, and spot some women washing clay pots on the bank. You scoop some water with your hands. It's cold and refreshing but tastes a bit earthy. You drink slowly, hearing the gulp in your dry throat. What luxury, just clean, cold water straight from the tap. You smile faintly, knowing this is a treasure. No air-conditioned offices here. Once your thirst is quenched, you realize time is passing, and you have to do something. Life here doesn't stop. There are no comfy chairs to sit and relax, you have to work. You head toward the fields near the Nile and see farmers working under the blazing sun. Their skin is dark, muscles defined. You watch men plowing the land with simple wooden plows pulled by oxen. You hear the quiet lowing of the oxen and the plow cutting through the dusty soil. The women, they're also planting seeds or harvesting crops. Their voices are quiet, exchanging whispers. You can smell the damp earth mixed with the scent of fresh grass. You feel like your body isn't used to this kind of physical effort. Even walking long distances on dirt isn't easy. You notice no one's wearing fancy shoes. Everyone's either barefoot or in very simple sandals. Man, you feel lucky for your comfy sneakers, you whisper to yourself. There are no big machines here, no tractors or harvesters. Everything's done by hand, by human muscle. The heat is intense. Sweat drips from your forehead down your neck. No fans, no air conditioning. The air is hot and dry, and you feel your lungs working harder to get fresh air. You pause for a moment under the shade of a distant palm tree, feeling a light breeze rustle through the long palm leaves, making a soft, calming sound. The sounds of work around you rise, but they're natural, not annoying. Sounds that reflect an old way of life. Language barriers and the strangers' faces make communication tough. You try to talk to one of the farmers, waving your hand. The man looks at you with curiosity. You try to speak and manage to get out. The words come from your mouth, but they don't mean anything to him. He's speaking a language you don't understand, a language full of strange sounds. You smile, trying to communicate. He smiles back, a simple smile, but you know real communication is impossible. No cell phones, no internet to translate the words. You're completely alone in understanding his language. That feeling of loneliness, even with people all around you, is a bit heavy. How do you ask for help? How do you ask about anything? You have to rely on gestures and your limited understanding of facial expressions. Oh man, I thought I was good with foreign languages, but here, I'm totally clueless. You hear the birds flying overhead, their quiet, distant sounds. You watch them disappear over the horizon. Time feels like it's moving so slowly. Every minute feels like an hour here. Life moves at a completely different pace, monotonous. The heat and the silence sometimes start to take their toll. Now you're sinking deeper into your ancient day. Noon is approaching, the sun high in the sky, sending down its harsh rays like you've never felt before. The sky shows no mercy when the shadow is a treasure. Now, as the sun reaches its peak, the atmosphere changes completely. The air that was warm in the morning has gotten really hot now. Feels like you're breathing in hot air. The air is dry and your throat dries out with every breath. There aren't any clouds in the sky. It's a deep, bright blue, soaked with sunlight. Nothing blocks the direct sun rays. You feel your skin burning, sweat pouring down your forehead and face. Some salt from the sweat stings your eyes a little. You try to find some shade. Shade here isn't like the thick, cool shade from the dense trees back in your modern city. Shade is rare. You see short shadows under mud walls or beneath a few scattered palm trunks. You find a small spot in the shadow of a tall wall and sit on the hot dirt ground. You feel the heat from the earth moving into your body. There are no comfy chairs or benches here, just the ground. You close your eyes for a moment and hear a faint rustling sound. Maybe a small insect crawling on the sand or a lizard trying to escape the sun's heat. The silence in this moment is amazing, a bit scary. It's not the peaceful quiet of untouched nature. but the silence of suffocating heat that hushes everything. You think about air conditioners, cold water that was always within reach, shaded windows, all the comforts you're missing here. What a sun! If you're upset about people caring more about themselves with a weak smile. Maybe I should find some papyrus to make a fan. The struggle with cleanliness, the dream of hot water, the dryness, sweat, and dust. All of it just makes you feel more and more uncomfortable. It feels like your body is covered in a thin layer of fine dust that itches a little in some spots. You remember the hot showers you used to take every morning and the smell of scented soap. Here, it's totally different. There are no taps or heaters, you have to rely on the Nile. You head back toward the river. Walking in this heat is exhausting. Every step feels heavy. You see some women washing dishes and clothes in the Nile. Water is everything here. You try to wash yourself, carefully stepping into the water. It's freezing, almost icy, despite the heat. You get a slight shock when the cold water hits your hot skin. The water's a bit muddy, not clear like the drinking water you're used to. You feel tiny grains of mud on your skin. There's no soap here like you're used to. Maybe some ash or natural oils. You rub your body with your hands. The water refreshes you for a moment, but you know the kind of real cleanliness you're used to is a luxury that doesn't exist here. Here, you hear the faint sounds of water insects and the buzzing of some flies trying to get close to you. What a refreshing experience. You think bitterly to yourself, no fancy shower, no soap, just water and some mud. I wonder how long this feeling of cleanliness lasts before the dust becomes a part of me again. The smell that clings to you is a whole world of natural scents. You realize now that in this age you have a smell that's part of you. It's not a bad smell in the usual sense. It's a strong, natural mix, dry mud, human sweat, nearby pets like goats and chickens, smoke rising from fires all day, fresh wheat. Even the rough linen clothes you wear have their own distinct scent. There are no artificial perfumes or chemical cleaners here to mask smells. Everything is natural and genuine. You're now past the middle of your pharaonic day. The sun has started to tilt a bit westward, but its heat is still intense. You feel tiredness creeping into your bones. Hidden dangers, environment, and diseases. As you walk through the village streets, you notice a lack of modern health awareness. There are no trash bins. Garbage and waste are thrown in the streets or near houses. You can smell a slightly sour odor in some places, a mix of rotting food and some organic stuff. You see insects flying over the trash, lots of flies. You feel a bit itchy on your skin, maybe even get a small bite now and then. You wonder how people used to live with all these bugs around. There's no insect spray here. I wish I had a small spray to use on myself. There's no running water in the houses. All the water is brought from the Nile. You see women and children carrying heavy clay jars on their heads or shoulders. This is a daily, repeated effort. You realize that the idea of public cleanliness is completely different from what you know. There are no modern bathrooms or toilets. Everything is done in a very basic way. Despite its simplicity, this situation poses a big health risk because bacteria and diseases can spread easily. You find yourself carefully watching what you eat and drink. Bread and Nile water are the basics, but you know there's always a chance of contamination. There's no health insurance here. They care about you with a sad smile, but no antibiotics. I guess I'll have to rely on my natural immunity and maybe some old herbs, no luxury, just reading and boredom. Now, after hours of wandering and watching life go by, you start feeling a bit bored. There's no entertainment like you're used to. No smartphones, no TV, no video games, no public libraries full of books. You sit somewhere pretty quiet, under the shade of a palm tree, listening to the wind rustling the palm fronds, making a soft whispering sound that's actually kind of soothing. You try to find something to do. You see some kids playing with simple toys made from clay or wood. Some men sit quietly chatting, and a few women are busy with hand sewing. You think about how much time you used to spend online, reading, watching movies, and now none of that's here. How do you even spend your day? Living in this time takes a lot of patience and the ability to get used to calm and slow life. What a quiet life. You think with a light smile, no annoying notifications from your phone, no bad news all day long. But there's also nothing to distract you. Will you get unbearably bored before the day ends? You close your eyes and listen to the sounds of nature. The chirping of birds flying in the clear sky, the sound of the Nile flowing steadily, and the distant laughter of kids playing. All these sounds help you relax and make time feel like it's moving really slowly. Walking is the only way to get around here. As the afternoon hours pass, your feet start to ache, and you realize you've covered a long distance since morning. There are no vehicles here like you know. No cars, no bikes, not even buses. Your feet are your only ride. You walk on uneven dirt roads, dodging small stones and cracks. Even if you're athletic, walking barefoot on this ground feels completely different. You see some people carrying heavy loads on their heads or backs, others pulling handcarts. Every move here takes a lot of physical effort. You suddenly realize how comfortable life was with cars and other transport. You try to lie down on the ground for a bit, but the heat makes it impossible to relax fully. You sigh quietly, thinking, what a long 24 hours. Will I make it to the end point today, still able to stand on my feet? You close your eyes again, hearing your heartbeat softly, surrounded by the sounds of ancient life. Around you, things start becoming part of your awareness. The sound of the wind, the Nile, distant voices, all coming together to form a calm, natural symphony that helps you sink into this era. You've come a long way in your day. The sun is dipping more and more toward the horizon, and the sky is shifting from deep blue to soft orange and purple hues. Heading back home, the tiredness builds after a long day of walking under the blazing sun. It's a real physical weariness, not the mental exhaustion you're used to in the modern world, but muscle fatigue, sore feet, aching joints. You walk through streets that are slowly emptying out. Dust still rises with every step, sticking to your sweat-moistened skin. There's no water here to wash off immediately when you get home, and no comfy spot to rest except the ground. You catch the sense of evening settling in, the smell of fresh bread baking for dinner, the damp earth as the air cools a bit, mixed with the smoky aroma drifting up from the fire pits. You enter your little hut slowly. Quiet fills the space, lit only by the single light coming from inside. There's a soft light coming from a small stove in the corner, and you can hear the faint crackling of the burning coals. You're sitting on the floor, your back a bit sore from being on the ground all day. You close your eyes for a moment, hearing the steady beat of your own calm heartbeat and the gentle wind sneaking through the cracks in the hut. It's a soothing, peaceful sound. Dinner is simple: a bit of bread, maybe some dates, an onion, or a little dried fish you might have gotten from a neighbor. There's no fridge here, no ready-made meals. What you eat is what's been prepared from basic ingredients throughout the day. The taste is plain, but it fills you up. You savor every bite, chewing slowly. There's no fast food here. Every meal is a whole process of preparation and eating. Outside, you hear kids playing before night falls. Their quiet laughter and voices calling out to each other remind you that life is all around. You drink some water you brought from the Nile. It's cold and refreshing now. You feel the chill as it goes down your throat. Oh, how much you took clean water for granted in your old world. You think about it with a little regret. Here, it's more precious than gold. You notice no one else is drinking. Everyone eats food slowly and calmly. Every bite matters. There's no waste here, everything is used. This simple way of eating might be tough for someone used to a lot of variety. The darkness is overwhelming. The electricity and lights are gone, and the sun has completely disappeared. Darkness is settling in fast. Not the kind of darkness you're used to in your brightly lit city, but pitch black, where even the stars hide. At first, the only light in your hut is a faint glow from a small stove, maybe a simple oil lamp giving off a shy light, casting strange shadows on the mud walls. You hear the soft sound of oil burning in the lamp. The night here feels different. No streetlights, no passing car lights, no lit-up houses, just darkness, with a few dim patches of light here and there. You feel a slight loneliness creeping into your heart. This darkness might scare someone who isn't used to it. There's nothing to entertain yourself with, no TV, no radio, no phones. Just you, your thoughts, and the sounds of the night. You hear the quiet chirping of crickets, the wind whispering through the palms, and the distant flow of the Nile. All natural sounds. It helps you calm down and sink into a deep state of relaxation. You fall asleep feeling like you've had an incredibly long day. Every hour was a challenge on its own. This era isn't as easy as you thought. Your body's tired, your mind is quiet, and darkness surrounds you. Night has fully settled in, and the dark wraps around you from every side. You're now halfway through your ancient Egyptian experience. Your body aches, and your mind is trying to adjust to this strange calm. The bed is hard. You're searching for some missing comfort as you head to your simple bed. A straw mat on the dirt floor. No soft pillows here, no cozy mattress. Just this roughness beneath you that shifts a little. You try to find a comfortable sleeping position, but every move makes the mat creak softly. You feel the hardness of the ground pressing against your back and shoulders. Maybe you had some aches from walking all day, and now the bed makes them worse. You close your eyes, hear the steady beat of your heart, trying to ignore the roughness. You try to give in to sleep, but real comfort feels far away. The air inside the hut is still a bit warm. You smell the dry earth and the straw, a faint scent, but now it's familiar. You think about the room, sleeping in your own world, on a soft bed with a warm blanket and a comfy pillow that cradles your head. These are luxuries missing here. Oh my God, did you ever complain that your mattress wasn't soft enough? You'd smile ironically in the dark now. Here, just a piece of soft cloth would be a dream. The sounds of the night are like an ancient nature symphony. The night is deep, the darkness complete. No lights bothering your eyes, just darkness that helps calm your mind. You hear the night sounds, simple but super clear in this quiet. The cricket making its steady, interrupted tunes, the wind whispering through distant palm leaves, a faint whistling noise, maybe a small animal crawling outside the hut, a soft rustling, no cars, no loud music from neighbors, no airplane engines overhead, just the sounds of nature, life in its rawest form. This quiet might annoy someone used to constant noise, but here, it becomes soothing, making you focus on every sound and enjoy it slowly. The sounds repeat. Cricket, wind, maybe a distant owl call, a little sad, but you're part of this world. You feel like every sound comes from far away, passing quietly through the space. You take a deep breath and notice the air feels a bit cooler at night, which helps you relax. Still, deep sleep is hard to come by. All these sounds keep your mind a little alert. Dreams flicker between reality and fantasy. You doze off for a short while, but your sleep is broken, not deep or restful. You wake up now and then, maybe because of a small movement or a new sound you haven't heard before. You think about your world, the people you know, the life you used to live. You wonder what they're doing now, if they remember you. This feeling of being distant from your world makes you feel lonely on this long night. You try to imagine the things you'd do if you could go back to your world. The first thing would be sleeping on a really comfy bed, drinking a big glass of clean, cold water, and taking a hot shower with scented soap. You close your eyes again, hearing your heartbeat in the dark and your own breathing. The calm around you is so deep, it encourages reflection and thinking about life. You fall asleep feeling like you didn't really rest well. That's just another part of the 24-hour challenge. An hour in the era of the Pharaohs. Sleep wasn't an easy luxury to come by here, but you give in to drowsiness again. The sounds blend into one background noise, the gentle wind and the steady chirping of night crickets. The night slowly starts to fade, darkness melting away to make room for the faint light of dawn. You're about to finish long hours of challenging yourself awake at dawn. Early sounds slowly wake you, not from an annoying alarm, but from a subtle change in light, or maybe the soft, repetitive crowing of a distant rooster. Your body feels stiff, probably from sleeping on the hard ground. You try to stretch a bit, every bone noticeable. The morning air is a bit colder than the night, carrying the scent of dew mixed with damp earth. You hear life starting to return. The neighbors whispering as they wake, bare feet stepping on the dirt, the distant mooing of a cow. All simple sounds, but in this quiet morning, they feel so clear. Light slowly seeps into your hut. Not harsh, but soft and warm, letting you see dust dancing in the beams. You get up slowly, feeling a bit dizzy, maybe some lightheadedness. You're feeling a bit off because you didn't get a good night's sleep, but you know that's just part of the experience. A personal hygiene challenge. Water is the only solution after a long night. You feel desperate to clean up, but sweat and dust are still stuck to your skin. Unfortunately, your options are really limited. Your first stop is the Nile. Walking early in the cool morning dirt feels better than walking in the midday heat, but your feet still ache a little. When you get to the river, the water looks calmer this early. A light mist wraps around the surface, making the view peaceful and relaxing. You hear the gentle sound of flowing water. You splash cold water on your face and hands, and instantly feel refreshed. You try to wash as much of your body as you can, but there are no baths, no scented soap, no shampoo, just water. The water washes away some of the dust and sweat, but you still don't feel completely clean like you do back home. Maybe this is how the ancient pharaohs felt every morning, smelling the familiar scent of the Nile water that's become part of your daily life now. The smell of mud and dampness is totally natural. Man, I used to think personal hygiene was easy and guaranteed, kind of joking about it. But here, it's a daily battle. The dawn meal is simple and repetitive. After a quick cleanup, you feel hungry again. Hunger becomes a daily routine, an inseparable part of your life. You find some bread, maybe a few dates or something simple you can get this early in the morning. You eat slowly, savoring every bite. There aren't many options, but the food fills you up and gives you a bit of energy for the new day. You hear the dawn sounds. Birds starting to chirp more actively, their voices soft and beautiful, and the sound of sailboats beginning to move on the Nile. The gentle sound of oars dipping in the water. The calm still rules the atmosphere, but it's an active calm, the calm at the start of a new day. You realize you've spent over 12 hours in this place. Every hour was a challenge in itself. A challenge for your body, your mind, and your way of life. You feel tired, but there's a light feeling of victory. You're still here, still holding on. But the time isn't over yet. You close your eyes for a moment, hearing the quiet morning sounds, the wind, the water, and the sound of ancient life. Slowly, everything is waking up. Sounds that help you relax and drift into the world of this time. The sun is rising again in the sky. The day moves on. You've already spent about 15 hours in this old world. Fatigue is really setting in. Another day of work, endless effort. No days off here, no weekends. Life is a constant grind. You see the people around you starting their day. The men head to the fields or the quarries. The women begin grinding grain or weaving cloth. You feel like you have to do something too. There's no time to relax. All day long, you find yourself heading back to the fields. You watch the farmers working hard under the sun. Their voices are quiet, no complaining, just steady work. You see a man carrying a heavy basket of vegetables on his back, slowly passing by. You feel how hard he's working. Then you spot another digging the ground with a simple wooden shovel. Every move here needs a lot of muscle. There's no machinery to help them. You try to help, pick up a shovel and dig into the hard, dry earth. It takes serious strength. Your arms start to ache fast. Sweat drips down your forehead. Again, you think about your workouts. You're doing this in your own world, but it seems like these exercises weren't enough to prepare you for life in ancient Egypt. You tell yourself with a tired smile. The air gets super hot as the sun rises higher. Your throat feels dry again, and the thirst comes back fast. There's nowhere to buy cold water or juice. You have to go back to the Nile. You hear the repetitive sounds of work. The hoe hitting the ground, the distant lowing of oxen, the wind whispering through the plants. All these sounds blend together, creating a single rhythm of life in this era. A slow but steady beat. The harsh conditions are a challenge. No luxury, no protection. As the hours pass, things get tougher. Not just the heat and the physical effort, but also the lack of any shelter or comfort. No shade to block the sun, no sunglasses, no sunscreen. Your skin starts to feel burnt, maybe some redness appears, causing itchiness and discomfort. You notice people here wear simple clothes, light linen shirts. There's no variety in colors or designs. Everything's practical and plain. Fashion doesn't exist here. You remember how much you used to care about your appearance back in your world. The different clothes mixed with scents. Here, everything's simple. Your smell is the scent of dirt, sweat, and the Nile. There's nowhere to hide from these smells. You sit in the shade of an old mud wall, feeling totally exhausted. Your body starts to relax, your mind slows down. This challenge is far from easy. Staying 24 hours in this era means giving up everything you once thought was essential in your life. You close your eyes and hear distant sounds. Women talking quietly, kids laughing, and the wind moving soft sand. All these quiet sounds, even though they're part of the challenge, actually help you dive deeper into this ancient world. The day is ending, the struggle between body and mind continues. The sun is starting to set again, night will come soon. You've spent about 12 hours in this era now. Your body feels worn out, your mind bored by the repeated conditions. You think about the few hours left. How will you get through them? Will you be able to stay awake? Will you find a safe spot to sleep? You hear the constant flow of the Nile, a steady, soothing sound. That sound is the only witness to the passage of time, to every moment you've spent here. Night has fallen. The last star, bright stars scattered across the dark sky, lighting up a bit of the darkness. You've reached the final moments of your pharaonic challenge. The last hours of the night. Patience is fading. You're lying on your hard bed, your body completely exhausted, every muscle aching. Sleeplessness is creeping in despite the deep tiredness. Maybe because you keep thinking about this strange challenge. You hear the deep sounds of the night, the constant chirping of crickets, the cold wind blowing through the cracks of the little hut, a faint sound like a moan. The quiet at this late hour is intense. No lights or man-made noises, just the sounds of nature that haven't changed for thousands of years. This deep silence can be tiring for a mind used to constant noise. You feel a slight chill creeping into your body. There are no thick blankets here, only rough linen wrapped around you. You try to warm up by moving a bit, but the movement only makes the pain worse. You think about every moment you spent here, the hunger, the thirst, the heat, the difficulty communicating, the ongoing physical effort. All challenges you never expected. Time is passing painfully slow. Every minute feels endless. It was like an hour riding the dawn, waiting for that moment that marks the end of the 24 hours with the last break of dawn. A feeling of victory after a long time. The light of dawn creeps in again. The first rays of the sun appear from behind the distant horizon. The orange mixes with the gray, announcing the start of a new day. You hear the sounds of life waking up again. The crowing of roosters, the livestock, people starting their day. Simple sounds, but now they bring a sense of comfort. You realize the 24 hours have passed. You made it through. You survived the experience. A light feeling of triumph creeps into your tired heart. You slowly get up, feeling your whole body aches, but your mind is clear. You've seen life from a completely different perspective. You step out of the hut, breathe in the fresh morning air, feel the warm sun on your face. The Nile flows quietly as usual. Life goes on here as it always has. You take a final moment of reflection, appreciating modern comforts. You look around at the simple mud houses, at the people starting their day with effort and fatigue, at the Nile, the only lifeline. Now you fully understand why you wouldn't be able to endure here. 24 hours were easy back in the time of the Pharaohs because water wasn't available at the push of a button, food wasn't diverse or ready-made, cleanliness was a daily challenge, sleep wasn't comfortable, the heat was intense, work was hard and physical, there was no entertainment and communication was limited. These hours taught me a lot. They taught me to appreciate cold water, electricity, a comfy bed, easy communication, and healthcare. All things you used to take for granted in your modern life. Close your eyes for a moment and listen one last time to the sounds of pharaonic life that have become familiar to you. The sound of the Nile, the wind, people's voices. Very quiet, very soothing sounds that help you drift off peacefully. Your journey ends here, but its lesson will stay with you so you can appreciate every moment in your world.